Okay, we're live. Hang on just a second. Just one more thing I gotta do. Okay. Whoops. I'll be right there, folks. Be right there. Testing, one, two. Testing. Okay, all right. That was harder than it needed to be. Okay. Let's go with that. Good morning, everybody. Whew. Okay, so I was kind of scrambling there for a minute. Let's straighten that up. Kind of scrambling because the sun is so bright that I was just a silhouette, even with this really bright light in my face. And so I had to do some last minute finagling just to get it into a little bit darker spot. That's still not even bright enough, but well, I'm doing the best I can. How are you, everybody? I wanted to just welcome you and thank you for coming on the broadcast. As you can see, I'm in Jerusalem. I wasn't planning on being in Jerusalem today. I was planning on being in Jordan, and that kind of all fell apart. I'll tell you the story. So the reason I was going out of Jordan, I was going to fly back to the States tomorrow morning out of Jordan, is because flying out of Tel Aviv is really a hassle. El Al Airlines is not fun to deal with. Their security is far and away beyond ridiculous, to the point of just like punitive, like they're trying to punish you for flying with them. And so not only that, but it was half the cost to fly out of Jordan, and I could fly on United, which is my preferred carrier, and I could get upgraded to first class. So I was excited to fly out of Amman, Jordan, tomorrow morning. And I just had to get there this afternoon and in time to do my live broadcasting. But that really was not in the cards because, as you know, probably Shabbat starts about now, Friday night. It's now, Friday the 10th at about 4 p.m. Local time here in Jerusalem. And about 3 o'clock is when Shabbat officially starts. And so I just knew, I looked on the website for the border crossing over there, and it closes at 3 p.m. So I said, okay, as long as I get there before 3 p.m., I should be okay. So I showed up about 12:35, and lo and behold, they decided to knock off early today for Shabbat, and so it was, the border crossing was closed, and I was like, but I got a plane to catch, and they're like, sucks to be you, sorry. They don't care, could care less. Why would they? I don't blame them. That's just one of those. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera. No wonder I got the wrong. I'm on this. No, I'm on that camera. Okay. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. Let's see if that looks better. Man, it's just hard with that light being so bright back behind me. That's why I normally do these a little bit later, so it's more like sunset. But I wanted to get this knocked out today because we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to show you. So to finish that story up, I got to the border crossing. It was closed. They wouldn't let me through. There was no other way to do it. I looked at every option I could. And bottom line is I got to wait here till Monday. And so I'm very sad because I was highly looking forward to seeing my lovely wife, whom I have not seen in more than a month. I don't usually like to be gone that long from her. And I wasn't planning on being gone that long when I left home more than a month ago. I was just planning on going to Armenia for a week and then coming back to the state or to Panama, where I live. But this happened. This war happened over here, and I came straight here from Armenia, and I've been here ever since. So God bless FaceTime. That's right. It would be a lot more painful if it wasn't that. I've been listening to a lot of books. Well, thank you, Cheryl. A lot of books about World War II and written by soldiers, and they didn't get to see their loves or talk to their loves for more than a year at a time, sometimes 2-3 years. And so I really can't complain. I get to see my wife every day, but I just missed her and was really looking forward to going home. Now I have to wait a couple days more. But if there's anything I've learned in 20 years of doing this job, is that you kind of have to roll with the punches, and you win some and you lose some. And God's writing this story, not me. There's very likely a reason why I couldn't get into Jordan today. And thank you, Mark. So I'm not going to get too upset about it because, like I say, there's a reason for everything, and I'm just going to be a little bit, philosophical about it and just live with it. You know what I mean? Thank you, Frederick. So let's get to an update on what's going on here in Israel. There's been a lot that has happened in the last 24 hours. So I want to talk to you about all this, and I've actually got a lot to show you, but I'm going to arrange this a little differently. Let's it's going to start getting darker here, so I'll be able to move the camera some in a minute. Let's go that way with it. And the thing is, I've got to move all this. I have 3 tripods here so that I can use this fancy system where I can show you videos. And since I had to move everything around at the last minute, it's kind of all messed up, but that's all right. We'll make it work. We will make it work. This is the unfiltered, unpolished version of television here. And since I've been in the business of making TV for more than 20 years, I have to say it's a little difficult for me to do it this way because I'm used to it having to be very polished and perfect. But, I think people are tired of that. We've been talking about that a lot in the CBN newsroom, how people really like this sort of unfiltered version. And so we're gonna do more of this. Let you kind of see behind the scenes a little more. I got to move this over here where I can reach it anyway. Okay, let's see if that works. Yeah, I can reach that from here. Okay, so let's take a look at, first of all, I asked everybody to decide if I should do my next story in the south or in the north. You remember that? And so thank you, Terry. Everybody said go north. They wanted to see about the American cowboys that have come over here to help out in during the war. And so I did that, and I'm going to play you a couple of little clips from just raw, uncut clips of the interviews that I did up there with these guys to give you a sense of what it's like. You're the first ones to see this. This is a sneak preview. Again, raw, unfiltered, not edited or anything like that. Take a listen here.
Sure. Yep. So we've been here for 20 years serving in the Jewish communities of Judea and Samaria. Everybody's asking why here. There's the Gaza front, the north, the farmers on these ends is really what the world is knowing about. The fact is that the farmers here in Judea and Samaria are also suffering, very, very much so. The Thai workers, which is the workers that are coming in from abroad, that do most of the work here, and including all the guys and gals that have been pulled up into reserve. The farmers here are suffering big time. So because we've worked in this area for 20 years, obviously we're not going to leave our farmers. We've got 120 farmers in this region that we've helped. So obviously these guys are guys we're helping. So the cowboys were on their way to come help, and somebody caught them on the way in and took a picture, and it went totally viral. So now I don't think there's an Israeli in the country that doesn't know about the cowboys. But literally, we're staying to task. We've got farms. We're picking zucchini here right now. If we don't pick these things, they're rot, right? We have to pick them. We're helping the farm. We put a fence up today around this area, keep the pigs out.
All right, so introduce yourself.
I'm Ezekiel Strain. I'm from Augusta, Montana.
Really? Augusta, Montana.
Yep.
How did you get hooked up with this group of guys?
Well, Hi-O-Vel, the Waller family started that, and I've known them my whole life, I guess. So our families knew each other.
Did you hear from them that they needed some help?
Yeah, so they're the ones that gave the opportunity. They started, how they call it, Operation Ittai, fundraiser, and to help out here in the land. So, yeah.
What made you want to come?
I wanted to help out. I believe this is the Jewish people. It's their God-given land, and we need to support them here. I mean, it's a small country, and we need to stand with Israel. I think it's an important thing to do.
Talk about the needs because of the war. So many people being called up to join the army that they can't harvest their vegetables and stuff. So that's what you're here for.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of the dads and the men have been called up for reserves and to go to fight in Gaza, and so that leaves this area and around Israel. There's no one to harvest. So it's a need that needs done, and yeah, we just wanted to help out with that. And then we're also gonna be the Operation Ittai. I don't know if you know much about that, but it's a fundraiser. So they're trying. Well, the goal is 29 million. They raised about 2 million so far, and so what they're doing is they're buying supplies, getting airlifted into Israel, because the communities like in Judea and Samaria, they don't have a lot. They don't the security, and I mean we got the Palestinian villages. They're right on top of each other. So yeah, they're getting drones, bulletproof vests, and just supplies like that, flashlights, just things that they don't have that help out with security. And so what happened down there on the border doesn't happen in Judea and Samaria and this part of Israel. And it could. I mean, in Judea and Samaria, I think there's like 500,000 Jews and 2 million Palestinians. So, I mean, you don't know.
Hello, how about that? I see my thing blow up. Too many moving parts on this software. So I was just out there with these guys. They were right on the Jordanian border. They were, literally like there's the field and then there's a fence right there between them and Jordan. I wish I could have jumped that fence and gone to the airport, actually. But they were out there just harvesting this guy's zucchinis and helping him out. And he was very happy. The farmer was. There are more of those guys that are coming. from the Alert Academy. They're bringing, I think, 20 guys, or they put out the call for 20 guys. If you're interested in coming to help, you can talk to those guys. Go to serveisrael.com, and the guys at HaYovel can tell you how to get here and what you can do to help. So I recommend you do that. Now, let's talk about what happened very nearby where we were yesterday. There was like a 9-hour firefight in the West Bank in the city of Jenin. This is, the West Bank is really heating up, folks. And this is not good news for the 500,000 settlers who live there. Those people need protection, and they don't have it. There are some units of the IDF that are there. They've beefed up the IDF units somewhat, but even the IDF units are vastly outnumbered. They're just vastly outnumbered. Thank you, Melissa. The IDF units there, if hundreds or thousands of settlers decided to attack one of these settlements, they could easily repeat October 7th. And there are calls for that. Obviously, the leadership there is calling for that, a repeat of October 7th. So I want to show you a video of this because it shows you kind of what the IDF is up against. You'll see the media talking about how the IDF is shooting kids, and what they don't tell you is that those kids are 19 or 20 years old. So they're military age males is what they are, but since they're under 21, the media classifies them as kids, as children. They're not shooting little ones, anything like that. And those kids happen to be shooting at the IDF soldiers, but the media won't tell you that part. And they'll say, oh, they're shooting medics that are trying to help people in there. I've seen some of this on the mainstream media. Well, those medics really are not medics, and I want to show you proof of that right now. So take a look here at this video. Now I'm going to tone down the audio from this. Thank you, Bill. So here's a medic that's running over to a quote-unquote kid who got shot, and instead of treating the guy that's shot, he picks up the guy's rifle, he trips there, and he runs over and hands that rifle to another kid who then continues to shoot at the IDF. Now they had 14 guys, 14 Palestinians killed yesterday in this firefight. I don't think they had any IDF killed, but that gives you a sense for the reality on the ground here, which is that the medics are not actually medics. The kids are actually military age males, and they are using weapons of war, like the Democrats like to call those M16s or AR-15s. They are using military-grade weapons and fighting against the, what's going on? Oh, just police pulling somebody over. They're using these, M16s and fighting against the IDF down there. There were 2 Israeli settlers yesterday near where we were harvesting, those guys were harvesting the zucchini, who were shot by Palestinians, civilians. These are Israeli civilians that live, they're settlers that live up there, and they were shot just going about their business out there. You probably are not going to hear about that on the mainstream news. What you're going to hear about is all the poor Palestinians who are being shot and killed by the Israeli army. Well, I just showed you 2 of them there, 3 of them. One of them, 2 of them were shooting at the IDF, and one of them was assisting the 2 that were shooting at the IDF. So you need to, I want to give you a fuller picture of what's going on. Now, I also want to talk about what is happening. Oh, let's see here. I want to go down to this map of Israel. Okay, if you look down in the bottom of that map, what you'll see there is Eilat, where Israel comes to a point right down here on the Red Sea. You'll see the town of Eilat. Now, Eilat is the place where most of those who survived the attacks of October 7th have been sent to recuperate. So what they, you know, Eilat is a nice resort town on the ocean. Hang on, somebody's got a question. Yes, okay, so I asked why the settlers in the West Bank can't arm themselves in case a horde of Muslims decides to try to repeat the 7th of October. Yes, I have asked that question. And I'll tell you, so more than 150,000 of those people have applied for weapons permits since October 7th because they are very, very vulnerable in the West Bank. There's a process they have to go through to get a weapon, and the Israeli government doesn't have enough weapons to hand out in those settlements. They need about 500,000 of them. So they actually asked the Biden administration to ship over a bunch of M16s or M4s for that purpose. Thank you, Bill. And the Biden administration said, well, we'll send you some weapons, but you have to promise us that they will not go to anybody in the West Bank. And that's because the Biden administration is all in on what they call the two-state solution. And the two-state solution means giving all of the land in the West Bank to the Palestinians. But that's not what the agreement is already. They have, you know, those different zones. There are zones where Israelis can live. There are zones where Arabs can live, and there are zones where everybody can live. The problem is the 2.5 million Arabs that live in there are not willing to. They don't play nice with others, and they'll just kill you. So it's kind of hard to live in a place with people who just want to kill you. You know what I mean? So that is kind of a non-starter. A lot of those people that I've talked to out there, a lot of the Israelis that I've talked to have said the two-state solution is a dead idea. It is not going to happen. We will not allow it. Chick, thank you very much. Shenandoah, thank you very much. You know, that two-state solution would necessitate, number one, Israel giving up a whole bunch of its own land, and number two, rewarding the people who have been murdering them for decades. And they're just not disposed to do that, especially now after October 7th. So it's just not going to happen. And the Biden administration really is not very supportive of Israel. So everything he's doing right now is designed to try to cater to the left-wing Jews who voted for him, but at the same time cater to the pro-Palestinian wing of his party, like the Squad, and that is a very sharp fence to try to straddle. And basically, you just make sure nobody likes you. But to say that we will give you weapons, but you have to make sure that the people who need them the most can't have them, is a really disingenuous thing to do. Now, let's go back to Eilat for a minute. That town of Eilat, way down in the south, it's a resort community. I think I might even have a video. Yeah, here's a video of the rocket attacks that have taken place over the last 24 hours in Eilat. This is one of the rockets that landed at a school. Now, I say rockets, but one of them was a rocket, and it actually didn't land. It did not land on the school. What blew up the school was a drone, a suicide drone. And they've determined that suicide drone came out of Iraq. So it was likely fired by some of those pro-Iranian militias. And those pro-Iranian militias have been threatening to do that for quite a while. They have also been attacking U.S. bases in Syria. And I actually have a friend who's there right now and who is under rocket attack all day long, probably as we speak, he's under a rocket attack. They've been attacked, he said, just constantly, because he's right at that base in a place called Al-Tam. I think I made a map of that. Let's see if I made a map of the... no, not that one. Not that one. No, maybe I didn't make a map of it.
Just came in.
Anyway, so I want to show you that video, which is my friend Dave Eubank and the Free Burma Rangers. They're there. Now, if you don't know who the Free Burma Rangers are, I need to sort of explain who we are to you. And I say we because I am a Free Burma Ranger, and I have been working with them for about 14 years. The Free Burma Rangers is a humanitarian aid organization that goes into crisis zones to help people who are being hurt and try to get them to safety. It's made up of mostly guys, old special operations guys, medics, things like that, and their families. And they started in Burma, that's why we're called the Free Burma Rangers, but now we have sort of spread out to several other places, several other countries around the world. We operate in Iraq and Syria. We operate in Ukraine right now. And they've been other places too, but that's where we're currently, focusing. The Free Burma Rangers addresses something that's known as the humanitarian gap. The humanitarian gap is, in any war zone you go into, there's a gap between the point of need and the point of care. The point of need being the place where people are getting hurt, shot, whatever, and the point of care where they can get some help at a hospital or a refugee camp or something like that. And that might be 1,000 meters, or it might be a 4-hour drive, that gap. The reason that the gap exists is because other aid agencies, like say the Red Cross or the UN or Samaritan's Purse or something like that, their policies won't allow them to go right up into the front lines because it's just far too dangerous. Thank you, Nicole. And because it's far too dangerous, the people that are actually in the point where have the most need, thank you, Ginger, can't get help. They sometimes they're just on their own and they have to get themselves to the point of care, and sometimes that's just not possible, so they just die. We have a fleet in Syria and Iraq of armored ambulances, and what we do is we drive into the fighting, go right into the front lines, and we rescue those who are being wounded or those who are trying to escape, civilians and people like that. We put them in our ambulances and we drive them out to safety. We go armed because not to fight. We don't. Our purpose is not to fight, but we will defend ourselves because one of our tenets is that we won't run if the people we're with can't run. And so the idea is to go rescue as many people as possible and get them out to a point of care. The founder of the Free Burma Rangers is a friend of mine named Dave Eubank. And Dave has been doing this. He started this back in the 90s. He's done amazing things, and I want to show you just one thing that he did, but I have to set it up so you understand what you're looking at. This is during the fight against ISIS, as the Iraqi army was trying to retake Mosul from ISIS, and there was a place where there were a ton of ISIS fighters holed up in this hospital, and they had snipers, and the snipers were just killing any civilians that they could see. So there were a lot of civilians trying to flee, but they could only go down this one road, and as they would go down the road, these ISIS guys would just machine gun them and just kill them all. So there were a bunch of children whose parents were killed, but the children were still alive, and they were sort of hiding behind this low wall, and because of the angle of the wall, the ISIS guys couldn't quite get to them. So as long as they stayed behind that wall, they were okay. But these little kids, some of them were just toddlers, would toddle out from behind the wall and immediately get killed. Dave and the team rolled up on those guys on that scene and were like, we've got to do something to save those kids. But by the time they could get the resources together, get a tank and get permission, and he got smoke brought in and everything to obscure the scene, there was only one girl left that was alive, one little girl. And Dave said that when they went up behind a tank, and then he charged across to pick up the girl and get her back to cover behind the tank. And all the time, the ISIS guys were just firing their machine guns into that gap, just nonstop. So it was just thick with bullets. And Dave said, I was absolutely positive that I was going to die. I knew this was it, but I knew I had to try. And if I died trying to save a little girl, I knew my family would understand. And so I want to show you that scene real quick so that you can see what it looked like. So that is the Free Burma Rangers in a nutshell. That's what the Free Burma Rangers does. I've been on many missions with them, and I go in and I drive the ambulance, and I take my iPhone and I get some footage while I'm there, and then I make news out of it when I come back. So they are currently, their team is right now in Syria, and they're right next to the Al-Tanf base, which is under fire right now from these militias, these Iranian-backed militias. There have been more than 46 rocket attacks against that base. There have been more than 40 soldiers on the base that have been injured. Dave and his team are outside the base where there is no, prefabricated cover. They're just up against the wall of the base. And so I want to send you a video that Dave sent me this morning that they shot right at daybreak as the rockets were coming in. So I want you to listen.
More rockets just came in. Thank you. There's more. Thank you, Angel Armor. We're laying here with your Angel Armor on. Karen?
Yeah.
Can I see your Angel Armor? You want to say anything to our Angel Armor?
This is Dave's wife, Karen. She goes with him everywhere.
Investment in our family and for keeping me. It's my warm angel armor. It keeps me warm too. We've been trying to sleep through this. So thank you so much. God bless you in all of your study and development and all of your lives and your family and all those who are protected by your stuff. It's great.
Amen. Lord, please keep protecting us. And I got mine right here next to me. I had it on, but trying to sleep. Whoa. I guess I better put it on.
Okay, so that is what is happening right now on the base, where there are several hundred U.S. troops, special operations troops, currently under fire from, and near constant fire from Iranian-backed militias. Now, yesterday, the United States struck a warehouse on an airfield near there in Deir ez-Zor, and that was their retaliation. I would say that if I were president, the retaliation would be much more powerful, much more swift, and absolutely unmistakable, because you have to send the message that you don't mess with American troops. Otherwise, our people are going to be getting killed, and we're just going to let it happen. So I want to play you that. Somebody asked if that video I showed of Dave Eubank was a drill. No, that was not a drill. That was in Iraq, near Mosul, on the outskirts of Mosul, when the Free Burma Rangers and that guy that grabbed the little girl, that's Dave Eubank, saved a little girl who was under fire from snipers, and she had been hiding under her dead mother's dress for 3 days with no water and no food, and she was going to die if they didn't get to her. So it was now or never. And they finally got that tank, and this is what it looked like. This is Dave. He runs across. He's got a bandage on his arm because the day before he was shot by an ISIS fighter who almost killed the man right next to Dave. So that gives you a sense of what the Free Burma Rangers does. And so I would ask you to please pray for the team that is right now under fire in Syria. Pray for our troops who are under fire in Syria and in Iraq. And I think you maybe want to write your congressman and demand that we have a more forceful response against these Iranian-backed militias who are essentially attacking U.S. bases at will right now on a near constant basis. That is, that's what's happening over there. Now, in Eilat, like I was saying, the drone attack came out of Iraq. Then the Houthis in Yemen fired a missile at Eilat. The reason they're targeting Eilat is because there are a bunch of survivors there from the October 7th attacks, people who are very, very traumatized because they were there in the kibbutzim. They somehow miraculously escaped, but they saw their friends killed. They saw their family members murdered and butchered alive. And so there's a lot of, PTSD happening down there. And when these rockets come in, you can imagine it causes some panic attacks. I have a piece of shrapnel here from one of those rockets. I may have shown you this already, but I don't know if this is from the rocket itself or if it's from the Iron Dome rocket that's used to shoot it down. I'm thinking maybe it's from the rocket itself, one of the rockets, because it's got this is a stabilizer fin or a steering fin. So yeah, I don't know, but it's blown up along the backside, very jagged, very sharp here. You can see that. And this is what becomes shrapnel. So today we had a massive rocket attack just a little over an hour ago on Tel Aviv. I mean, dozens and dozens of rockets all over Tel Aviv. And they were all shot down, but many of these rockets fell, the debris from the rockets fell down on Tel Aviv. And I think there was maybe 2 people injured by falling debris. So although they didn't get blown up, and it would have been a lot worse if they hadn't been shot down, even shooting them down causes some debris and is dangerous. So people have to get under cover when that happens. And so let's see, what else? I wanted to talk, I had planned to talk to you about what's going on in Jordan, but I'm going to wait until I get to Jordan to do that. If you didn't get here at the beginning of the broadcast, I was supposed to be in Amman tonight, but I got to the border crossing 5 minutes too late because they decided to close 3 hours early today and didn't tell anybody. And so, it's very inconvenient, this whole Shabbat thing, because everything comes to a screeching halt. I thought, okay, fine, I'll just go to the airport at Ben Gurion. I'll get the first flight to anywhere that's not Israel, and then I'll work my way home from there. But nope, it's Shabbat. So all the flights are done by about 2 p.m., and I couldn't have gotten to the airport by then, so I was out of luck. So I'm stuck here in Israel over the weekend, and I'll have to leave on Monday, which makes me very sad. Okay, where did the rockets into Tel Aviv originate? They originated, Don, in Gaza, which goes to show that the fighters in Gaza are not done. They're not laying down their arms. The IDF has uncovered all kinds of rocket firing points, and we're learning a lot about how they are able to keep firing those rockets, even though they're under tremendous pressure from the IDF right now. And that's because they have dug them into the ground. They've built them into buildings so that they're totally camouflaged and already set and ready to fire. One video I saw was the IDF going into a little girl's room, and underneath her bed were a bunch of rockets. There was another one where there was a tunnel entrance right next to a Barbie playhouse. This is the kind of thing that Hamas does. Now, the IDF is surrounding now the Shifa hospital. That's the hospital where I don't know if I deleted that or not. Let's see if I deleted that. I think I might have. The hospital where they showed the video of Israelis being butchered, and all the people that were watching were going, yay! They were all cheering. Absolutely disgusting. Well, there was a mortar round that fell outside the either that hospital or the Indonesian hospital. I forget which one, but fell out in the parking lot, blew off a guy's leg who was standing there, and they're saying that the IDF shelled this hospital. Well, as it turns out, as usual, they get a little bit more information and find out that it was actually a Hamas mortar round that went wild and landed in this hospital's parking lot. But it was just one round. Look, if the IDF wants to blow something up, they hit what they're aiming at. And they're not going to just throw a mortar round into a parking lot. If they wanted to hit that hospital, they would have hit the hospital. If they wanted to, if they want to hit, their precision-guided munitions are so precise, they can put them through a particular window in the hospital. And so it's not like, if you see something like that where it's just like a wild round that happens to, fall somewhere and blow somebody up, it's a pretty safe bet that it's not the IDF doing it. All right, folks, that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for all of the super thanks, the super chats, all the donations. You guys, if you haven't seen it, go look on my channel. There's a video there from my wife about some of what we have done with the donations that you've given just over the last couple days. We were able to literally make a blind man see by paying for his cataract surgery, and that's you guys. You did that. You paid for that guy's surgery, and so thank you very much. This podcast is a way that we can not only make the news, but we can make the news better. And the way we make the news better is because you can reach through this medium, through YouTube Live, and you can donate, and we can actually help the people who are hurting the most in the places where I go. So God bless you all. I've got another live hit here coming up top of the hour, so I got to go get ready for that. Hope you all do great, and I'll be back on again tomorrow. We'll see you later. Take care.